But it's something about the way she makes me feel.
Somebody was saying it used to be, that's where it's at. Yeah, man, that's where it's at. And he used to say, there's a hook line right there, and he would write a song right so easily. Like, he didn't scuffle for it.
What really happened between Sam Cooke and Bobby Womack? How did betrayal shake their friendship? Did Bobby marry Sam's widow too soon after his death? Why did people say Bobby broke the trust of a legend? Was there more to this story than what fans knew? Let's look deeper into the shocking betrayal and the lasting impact it had on both their lives and music. Let's break this down to understand just how big of a deal this was. To really get the full picture, we need a little backstory on Bobby Womack and his life in the 1950s. Bobby started his career in the family gospel group called the Womack Brothers. It wasn't long before he met Sam Cooke, a famous singer and songwriter, when Bobby's father arranged for his group to open for Sam's band, the Soul Stirrers.
Oh, pretty good. You've been a singer and a performer most all of your adult life, haven't you?
Right, ever since I was about 7, 8 years old.
In 1961, Sam Cooke started his own record company called S Records. He signed Bobby's group to the label. They released a few singles, including Couldn't Hear Nobody Pray, but sadly, none of the songs became hits. Sam Cooke, seeing potential in the group, decided that they should switch from gospel music to secular music to reach a wider audience. This was a big change for Bobby and the group, but Sam knew it could work. They even changed the group's name to the Valentinos. Then they released the song Looking for a Love, which was a new version of their gospel hit. This song made a big splash, peaking at number 72 on the Billboard Hot 100 and selling over 2 million copies. Sam Cooke, who had become close to Bobby and the group, treated him like a protege, someone he was helping to guide in the music world.
Somebody was saying it used to be, that's where it's at. Yeah, man, that's where it's at. And he used to say, there's a hook line right there, and he would write a song right so easily. Like, he didn't scuffle for it.
Unfortunately, their close friendship was tragically cut short in 1964. Sam Cooke was the Hacienda Motel in Los Angeles by the motel's manager. She claimed it was in self-defense, but many things about the case don't add up, leaving people wondering what really happened.
During the funeral, Johnny Morissette, who was on the label, kept crying. He was like this. I'm sorry, Sam.
First, the gun that was used doesn't match the one registered to Franklin. Even more strange, the bullet taken from Sam's body went missing after it was given to the police.
Because Sam had received a phone call that brought him to that motel with the girl.
The autopsy found a big bump on Sam's head, which Franklin said came from hitting him with a wooden broomstick after shooting him. But here's the weird part. Her gun still had bullets in it. If she was scared for her life, why would she put down a loaded gun to use a stick? Franklin also had no injuries when she appeared on TV 5 days later. This is odd because she claimed there was a violent fight. Motel guests said they didn't hear gunshots or any struggle, even though Franklin was on the phone with the motel owner during the incident. The owner said they heard part of the fight on the call. Photos from the scene showed cuts and bruises on Sam's body. Etta James, a famous singer, saw his body at the funeral. In her memoir, she said his injuries were much worse than Franklin's story suggested. She described his head as nearly separated from his shoulders and his hands as broken. Etta didn't believe Franklin's story and said no woman with a broomstick could do that kind of damage. Some believe Sam was somewhere else and his body was brought to the motel. There are rumors that his business manager, Alan Klein, might have been involved to gain control of Sam's money. Others think racism played a big role in the police not looking deeper into the case. Sam's friend Muhammad Ali even said that if Sam had been a famous white singer like Frank Sinatra, the investigation would have been more serious. To this day, the truth about Sam Cooke's death remains a mystery. Sam had 2 funeral services, one in Chicago and another in Los Angeles. The Chicago service was huge, with over 200,000 people attending, including famous faces like Muhammad Ali. Bobby was close to Sam and attended the funeral, but what happened next is something many people still remember. Just months after Sam Cooke's death, Bobby made a controversial move. On March 5, 1965, Bobby married Sam Cooke's widow, Barbara, at the Los Angeles courthouse. This shocked many people, especially the Cooke family. Bobby later wrote in his book, Bobby Womack, the Midnight Mover, about how this marriage led to him being disowned by his own family. He said, "My brothers were reluctant to be around me. They knew the threats that were out there against me for marrying Barbara. They didn't know what to do, but without them, I was totally alone." Bobby's troubles didn't end there. The Cooke family, especially Sam's brother Charles, was completely against the marriage. After the wedding, Charles told Bobby, "Man, anyone else could have married Sam's wife, but you, Sam, loved you, man. If you ever come to Chicago..." Charles didn't finish the sentence, but Bobby knew exactly what he meant. The tension between Bobby and the Cooke family only grew.
His wife, I guess you didn't trust me so much.
In his book, Bobby talks about a big fight he had with Charlie in Chicago. He says that when he went to meet Charlie, he was ready for whatever was going to happen. He and his wife, Barbara, flew to Chicago and checked into a motel. Bobby called Charlie and told him where they were. When Charlie showed up with his two brothers, the fight started. Charlie punched Bobby right away. Bobby says the beating was so bad that his whole head swelled up. His teeth even went through his lip. He was knocked out cold and his jaw was broken. Barbara, who had a bad temper, heard the fight and ran out with a gun. She tried to shoot Charlie but had no bullets in the gun. Bobby had taken the bullets out earlier, just in case something went wrong. Charlie and his brothers left after the fight, and the cops were called. When the police saw Bobby's condition, they thought Charlie would be arrested. They took him in, but Bobby decided not to press charges, so Charlie was released. After the fight, Bobby and Barbara continued with their lives, but things were far from fine. Despite all the drama, you might think Bobby and Barbara would stay together. After all, they had been through a lot. But in 1970, Barbara filed for divorce. The reason was shocking. She found out that Bobby was sleeping with her teenage daughter, Linda. Bobby talks about the incident in his book. He recalls lying on the bed with Linda, kissing her when Barbara walked in. She was furious and didn't wait for an explanation. She grabbed her gun and chased Bobby out of the house. While he was running away, she shot at him but only grazed his head. After that, they divorced in 1971. After the divorce, Bobby tried to be with Linda, but she wasn't interested in him. Instead, she married Bobby's brother, Cecil. They had 7 kids and started a successful music duo called Whack and Whack, with hits like "Baby, I'm Scared of You." This whole situation with Linda and Bobby's family made their lives even more complicated and messy. Also remember that Womack's song, "I Wish He Didn't Trust Me So Much," made waves when it came out. People couldn't help but wonder if the song was inspired by Bobby's real-life drama with Barbara Cooke.
I'm the best friend he's got.
The song starts with powerful lines. "I'm the best friend he's got. I'd give him the shirt off my back. He knows he can trust me with his life, but each time he leaves me alone with his wife."
I'd give him the shirt off my back.
Songwriter John T. Austin even tweeted about it. He said that considering Bobby showed up at Sam Cooke's funeral wearing Sam's suit, later married Sam's widow, and had a fling with Sam's daughter, the song felt like a savage diss track. But Bobby explained that the song wasn't about any real affair. It was about a man fighting feelings for his friend's woman. The lyrics say, "There's a way she makes me feel. Lord, I'm scared, so scared of what I do, if she starts feeling the same way too."
But it's something about the way she makes me feel.
Bobby also said in his memoir that his relationship with Barbara began after Sam's death. He insisted the song had nothing to do with Sam Cooke. In his memoir, he wrote, "I don't speak to Barbara no more. Linda doesn't speak to her. Haven't spoken to Cecil for years. No one speaks to no one." Womack opened up about his frequent drug use. He said he began using cocaine sometime in the late 1960s. He had become close friends with Sly Stone and was an enthusiastic participant in Stone's infamous drug binges. Womack told Rolling Stone in 1984, "I was really off into the drugs, blowing as much coke as I could blow, and drinking, and smoking weed and taking pills. Doing that all day, staying up 7, 8 days. Me and Sly Stone were running partners." In 1974, Womack experienced temporary blindness after he suffered a concussion from a blow to his head when he flipped backwards over an amplifier during a recording session. His cocaine use turned into an addiction by the later on. He partially attributed his drug addiction to his infant son Truth's death, which he said changed him forever. Throughout most of the 80s, Womack struggled with a worsening addiction. During this period, his career slowed down significantly, partly as a result of his drug usage. In 1985, after completing 14 one-nighters, Womack was hospitalized after experiencing a blood circulation problem in his left leg. Toward the end of the 1980s, he went into a rehabilitation center to get over his cocaine addiction, which he said he conquered. This story is like a web of people doing each other dirty, and it all starts with Mary and Curtis. Mary cheated on her husband Cecil, and that's how the drama began. Then there's Linda, who did Barbara dirty by cheating with Bobby while they were married. But the mess doesn't end with Bobby. He went on to do Sam dirty by marrying his wife just 3 months after Sam died. And then Barbara did Sam dirty too, by marrying Sam's friend only 3 months after Sam passed away. That's a lot of people doing each other dirty, don't you think? This is what I call the web of betrayal. Look at all the connections between these people. At first I thought Bobby was the main troublemaker in this story, but now I see that it's not just him, it's the whole family. Bobby passed away on June 27, 2014, at the age of 70. He is remembered not only for his powerful voice and talent, but also for his resilience through the struggles he faced. Bobby's ashes are now at the Forest Lawn Memorial Park Cemetery in Glendale, California, where he rests in peace.